this trigger, and what is affecting the country mostly is the public debt. And this calls us to audit how we do things fiscally, because the major problem that we face is fiscal discipline among the ruling class. And we have a whole chapter in the Constitution, chapter 12, dealing with public finance. But if you look at how we handle things, majority of us are not informed, and even Parliament itself and the Treasury does not handle things constitutionally. So we need to, moving forward, we also need to work on this and to make sure that the Constitution is not there for cosmetic reasons. It's there for a purpose, and we need to make sure that it is followed to the letter. So then we need to make short and long-term goals. What do we aim to achieve when you go to the protest next week? I know right now we are using the hashtag Ruto must go, but do we see that happening? Because I would want that to happen, probably tomorrow or even yesterday. I would want it to happen. But where are we headed with this, and when are we likely to achieve this? And if this is a long-term plan, what are our short-term goals? Because I think we can reopen the case on Linturi. We can start with this because we need to have examples. We need to teach these people that, we actually mean what we say. And because corruption is our biggest problem, we need these people to go. We need the president to just call this person and tell them to go. Because again, if we talk about dissolving parliament, Ruto won't. Remember that the only thing that is working for Ruto right now is the parliament. The public is not working for him. He has no political goodwill in the public. He won't dissolve that parliament. What we need to do is recall our MPs. And then this calls us to make reconstituting of IBC our short-term goal. So yeah, but and I know we've talked about we don't want leaders, but we need to organize ourselves. And I do not mean that we appoint somebody that now when the protest is called, you're the one who talks for us. But we need some sort of organization. I also like the way we've been communicating to other people. In terms that page, Mushiri Mike's page is called, I think it's called Civic Rise. I really like how we've been doing things, ensuring that everyone understands what we are doing. And so even as we intend to continue with the protest, we also need to communicate this in different languages for everyone to understand, because we realize that people who go to the streets, they've not understood what exactly we're going to do. They just had that Tuesday kuna kwanga na maandamano and then they tokea. So let's not make ours a Pyrrhic victory. Let's actually have goals. And I want us to know that we are the only functional unit or functional organ in this country right now. The judiciary, to some extent, I think they're compromised. Executive, of course, that is at the beck and call of the president. The legislature is feckless. So now, what do we do? And I think we need to start organizing ourselves, because we also do not want this rage to die, and we are not ending it here. We keep going. I for one do not want to get to 2026 and then just in case we do, we'll still have somebody sitting there. And if you look at the hierarchy of these things, for instance, now you call Ruto to resign, and whatever happens, he resigns, and then we have Gachagua, and then we decide no, Gachagua is a no, we impeach him, because I think for Gachagua the parliament can easily impeach him. And then who's next? Wetangula takes office for 90 days. All these are Ruto's people. Ruto will be ruling in proxy. So it will not give us what we want. But now, can we think of the best possible way that we can be served?
Melvin.
These guys are Kimuzi, I know I'm finishing.
Kindly wind up, juu watu ni wengi sana.
Okay, sawa. And also because these guys haven't been in office for 2 years. It's just been 1 year and a few months. So we need a way forward. Thank you.
Africa, I can see Africa. Kindly take over.
Yes, yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yes, thank you guys. And I am today, as much as I am a disappointed Kenyan, I'm also a very proud Kenyan because of what we are doing as the youth. And first of all, I want us to urge all of us that the distractions that are coming, tumeona vizuri, those who came for the press conference, those guys are government sponsored. And one of them, I really thank you guys because you are doing the research. One of them, tunaona vizuri, he was behind Ruto in some interview. So let those people do not think that we are stupid. We are just the way I've tweeted today that we are Gen Zs. We are informed. We do research. We are not being lied for. Wengine wamedanganywa sana. The other generations wamedanganywa sana and they bought into it. With us, we do our own research. We validate the informations that we give and we get, we consume. Again, we are continuing with the protest tomorrow and Sunday. These people are going to come into our churches. And just the way we did last time, let us people to speak because they're buying off our parents. They are buying off the older generation, like places like Eldoret, where they have brought goons walking with clubs within the city, within the town, care about, and we don't get fear. They tried to insert fear into us, na tukakuwa na woga. But then came and we woke up, ikatuambia kwamba tusirudi nyuma. Walijaribu kutushtua, then when we realize who Ruto is, he really is, venye and how Avengers after everything.
I think we've lost you. Gerald, I don't think I can hear you. Can anybody? I think your speaker is not okay. So the lady Alexia, you can take off.
Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so first and foremost, to be honest, I think I'm happy with you guys because if anything, anybody anatokea hapo mbele, points zangu anazisema, so it just shows we are all on the same level of thinking. But let me just put this quick. First and foremost, there's this guy who called Nelson alisema kitu the other day. As each system comes in government, the Westerners find a way to make us weaker and weaker. Let me give you an example. When our first president came to power, these guys could not handle, how's it called, dealing with the government. So they're like, hey, you guys, nikasi tujui kufanya kitu, ebu come lead us. And from there, these people have been giving themselves loopholes to make us weaker and weaker. That being said, you guys, you need to come to a perspective unafaa kuona the way these guys look at us. When you look at US particularly, these guys, I don't know, but till now they still have an issue with their own black population. You get? So you think in your eyes you are seen as a Kenyan. You're just seen as how they see our tuwa. And I was seeing people saying, oh, let the international people help us. No freaking way. The power is in us and us alone. Because like there's no other way to do this except with us doing this. Someone said here we need to form a system ya kuendelea, whether it is a party or a council. That is something mandatory. We can't, and first and foremost, there's hakuna vile mtasema an influencer social media any mtu ati ni leader. Hiyo kitu I think I'm happy you are mko hapo, but there needs to be a system, whether a council or whatever, for airing these things hadi ifike the election year. Because if anything, at this point, there is nobody who is worthy to be a president. That's the reality. You can't say they are saying ati Gachagua, no. So itabidi tu ukai chini ukule ndimu, you wait 2027. But till then, something will have to come up. And you guys need to understand this. Even the Azimio party and whatever, none of these people are competent. Anybody mtu mzee, kwanza there's a picture I've seen, these church leaders, this guy anacheka sijui aje, like all his teeth are out. Me, I was like, no way, watu no. You need to understand, this is just a human being who happens to be a so-called religious leader. But like whenever we hear a story, in his story too, whenever we hear this pastor raped a woman, you're like, oh my gosh, ni pastor? Hapana, ni mtu. He happened to be a pastor. So you need to, your title, that title is what gives the uzito, but these people are not helping us, if anything. But us having a system kutoka hapa kwenda huko ni hivyo. And the last point, you guys need to understand this. Our country penye tuko in terms of demographic, we have a very huge young population. When you look at these developed countries, when they were at this particular stage tuko, that's when they were building themselves to be where they are. Because nowadays you hear, this like Japan has a low birth rate, low young people, blah, 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 not. Penye si tuko, we are different from them. This is
I'm asking myself, Ruto does not know what needs to be done. They don't know what they need to do. So we have to tell them, we have to meet them and tell them, listen, this is what needs to be done. These guys know exactly what they need to do. You should read their manifestos. It's manifestos what they need to do. But once they get power, they do the complete opposite. Okay, so the next speaker, let's take a gentleman. Ibrahim.
Hello guys, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so guys, thank you Maze for hosting this space.
Young people of this nation. Okay, number one, if you have noticed, we have labeled our protest the rage, and it's true we are angered by this government. But kitu moja lazima tufanye, because these politicians are very crafty. Let us maintain the rage, maintain the anger, but have a clear course of action. So we have seen suggestions kwa Twitter line. Kuna just yet realized that is high and not a lot of people are talking about. There has been a selection panel in place since 30th March 2023. We are now in 2024 and we don't know what that selection panel has been doing. There are people who have been getting salaries and they have not yet settled down on the people who are supposed to lead to head IEBC. So right now, even as we continue with our protests, we must make sure that the message that needs to be heard is that the IEBC should be constituted and a budget should be assigned to the IEBC. Ndio tusiambiwe IEBC ndio hii lakini do hakuna. Have you seen what Zakayo has resulted to? Kwa sababu ya hiyo finance bill amesema sasa juu alisema hawataki, must set a precedence. Once we set it, hakuna watu in the future watakuja kugo against chenye wananchi wanataka. People have still not yet understood the concept of democracy and how we should divide the three arms of government. That's why tunaonanga waheshimiwa mhesh unampisha kwa njia. That person is a servant. Once we don't realize that they are there to speak on our behalf, that the executive is there to implement whatever these guys create in parliament, that the judiciary is there to negotiate hizo conflicts zenye zitatokezea hapo in between, we get lost. We see them as gods. They are not gods. So we need to put them where they belong. Lazima tutafute hao MPs wenye we will recall as soon as IBC is back. Then I also want us to push for a referendum to put caps in salaries. Hii gava, by the way, if you have noticed, there are very few public servants in Kenya compared to our population. But ukisikia zile vitu wanaita recurrent expenditures, hizo za salaries and nini, maze, it's a very big percentage of the budget. As long as we'll be silent about very few people in this Kenya, a lot of money that can be used in development, na tuendelezeshe the private sector in our own ways, then we'll always be screwed by this government. I think kama ma MPs, kuna upuzi walifanyanga last time wakati kulikuwa na new budget, ati walijiongeza pesa sijui to cushion themselves for the hard times ahead. Man, hiyo kitu imeniuma hadi wa leo, and it is something that came on the nara, sikusikia watu wakiongelea. There are some things that should just make us furious, and these people should know that we are out there and we are watching. Finally, mimi nikimaliza, good democracies inakuanga constituted of systems, so that even if one system comes out, even if one bunch of leaders comes out, the others who get in, they get on the same system na waiendelezeshe. The people who've been in our systems have been making them weaker and weaker by the day. But do you know why those systems are getting weaker? Some of us are not informed. We don't have knowledge. Tukiangalia systems theory, for those who've studied it moja mbili, lazima tuelewe venye all these parts of the systems work, so that we can know where to manipulate, where to press, where to push, so that our systems work best. Sindio? Now, tukijiuliza, sisi wenyewe tunaelewa our systems. Who here can say that they have a very